Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing our builds for our Let's Play A Series of Unfortunate Events episode 1, The Bad Beginning. So in this video we're going to do I think 8 really small builds just to set the scene for the Baudelaires when we start playing. And the first location we're going to make is Briny Beach, which is just like the sad looking beach that the Baudelaires are at when they are informed that their parents have died. And so there's not a ton of building to do here because it's like literally a beach and that's it. So we'll just do that. And then I might add like some trash around. Like as sad as it is, maybe there's some like floating out here in the water. And then maybe we will just build like a lifeguard tower. So maybe we'll just have a ladder here. We can put some columns in there to hold it up. And then honestly, maybe we just put this like white chair here. And then we have like the life preserver we can hang on a column. All right, so then at nighttime also, first of all, we are going to stick mosquitoes all over this beach. And then in live mode, here is how our briny beach is looking. Like honestly, pretty terrible with our little lifeguard tower and everything. Honestly, like I'm really content with this. So then with briny beach done, we can go and make the Baudelaire household. And I don't want to spend too much time on this build just because it literally goes up in flames like before the series even begins. All right, so there's our loose shell. It looks kind of stupid on this little 30 by 20 lot, but I will go in and finish the shell up. All right, and then let's roof this thing. I am very aware that I am not showing a ton of creating this build because there are 8 I want to get through in this video. If in the future you guys would like me to break them up into 1 to 2 part videos so that you can see more detailed builds, like I'm totally open to that. Just leave me a comment letting you know what you kind of prefer. Okay, so I went off and did doors, windows, paint, everything, and this is kind of our loose exterior right now. Oh, our loose exterior right now. So then I'm gonna go in and do landscaping and stuff, and then I think for interior, we're only gonna focus on the rooms that are like important to gameplay and storyline, and then I will just give you guys a tour of the other rooms. That way we can fit all the builds in this video. All right, and so then here is our final landscaped exterior. We just did like a little flower garden, some trees, the fountain in the middle, and then with the outside of the Baudelaire mansion complete, we can go in. And the rooms I really want to focus on are the libraries. So I made one here and then an opposite one at the other end, and just opened up this so we have like a really tall library. We can do a lot of bookshelves in there. So I think I want to save this area for like a little reading nook maybe. And maybe we'll just do 1 chair here and then like a little table actually. This table's kind of nice. Just like a little reading area there. And then I think we need to go in and just bookshelf the house down in here. And I think we're gonna do the modular one. And what I like about this is we can stack it so it goes up all of the walls. And I feel like that gives us a little bit more of like a like cartoony almost feel. All right, and then these are just like super bookshelved walls. I did include one of the incomplete ones, like maybe that's where they put the book up from. And then we got this wall, and I might go in and add a few like fun rugs to just add some color. Okay, cute. And then we have our chandelier for light. So then I'll go in and add clutter and then also repeat this design in the library on the other side. All right, and then with clutter and everything, here is how our library turned out in the Baudelaire mansion. And then it just extends here to the upper floor. It's got that really high ceiling. And we have the exact same layout here in the library on the other side. And we'll go in really speedy now and do kitchen, dining, and living room. And then the layout here is kind of you come in, living room, library, stairs, bathroom. The bathroom is literally just a sink and a toilet, and then kitchen. So we'll go through and do this first floor. We'll do something like this for our kitchen. I wanted to add a little bit of the family aspect too because I don't want this to be like a cold build. And we'll do this for loose dining, and then I'll go in and just clutter up this entire area here. So here is our cluttered up kitchen and dining. I wanted this to have like a more minimalist aesthetic. It's a lot less cluttered than my other rooms. And also this is a reference to the sugar bowl, so that may come into play later. So then I'll go over and do the living room. We're definitely doing an art frame TV. We do need a fireplace so that it can eventually burn down. And then we can just throw a more classic sofa in there. We'll do a coffee table, and then I will clutter up the living room. And with the living room done, we can go upstairs. In this second floor, I already threw together 2 bathrooms. They are like almost exactly the same for Klaus and Violet. And this will be Klaus's room and this will be Violet's room. They are very tiny rooms. So I'll go in and do both bedrooms here. All right, and so then here's Klaus's room. There's not much in it, but tried to do just as much book clutter as possible. And then over here in Violet's room, we have invention posters on the wall, the little craft cart, which I thought she could invent with, and then some tools. And they both have a dresser and a mirror, but these are very, very small rooms. And with their bathrooms already done, we can go up, and this is going to be the room of the Baudelaire parents, Sunny's room, bathroom, and closet. Okay, so I went off camera and did Sunny's room here, the green dragon, as a reference to the incredibly deadly viper, and just gave her some toys, some toddler stuff. And then over here, made a closet for the Baudelaire parents and threw together a little bathroom for them. You do have to go through the closet to get to the bathroom, but like, I think that's okay. So in here, we'll make the Baudelaire parents' bedroom. We'll get a bed, a dresser, and a mirror. And I'll just go through and add some more clutter to this. All right, and then with clutter, here is our bedroom for the Baudelaire parents. And yes, I caved and did the chest at the end of the bed. I couldn't help myself, but I think this room turned out really, really cute too. And so with that floor completed, that is every room in our Baudelaire mansion. So next we're gonna go to Strangerville and build some sewers. Lemony is often like in the sewers. People use them as passageways to get in between different houses. So I think what we're going to do here is just place an abandoned house from the gallery. I'm not going to make a whole one of these myself, but then what we will do is a series of like tunnels under here. Okay, so we've got this stretch of tunnels, and then we just want to do like a wooden ladder there. We'll just do a concrete flooring, a stone wall, and like that's all that's going to be down here. Like it's the sewers. And then we'll go up here and just put like a dead tree in front of where the ladder is, so it's a little bit like unassuming. And then this is the build from the outside, but if Lemony needs to, he can go down and be in our little like labyrinth of sewers down here. All right, so that was a really easy one. And next we'll go in here and make the Poe family house. The Baudelaires do stay there for a little bit. And there's like nothing to Mr. Poe's house. Like it's just a tiny home in between 2 tall apartment buildings. So I'll go in and do the exterior. It looks a little rough right now. All right, so we have our exterior here. The Poe's house is the blue one in the middle of these 2 like larger homes. And then for these long homes, I just left them empty because they're just for looks. And then I put little trash cans in front of the door so that Sims won't go in there. But now we'll go in and build for the Poes. This is a tiny house. However, I also feel like the Poe's house in the show is pretty tiny. I kind of want to start up here with Albert and Edgar's bedroom. And my hope is to just fit 3 beds in here if we can. Okay, like this. So one for each of the boys, and then this one for the Baudelaires. So then I'll go through and add like the minimal clutter that we can in here. And then all cluttered up, here is our bedroom for the boys and the spare bed for the Baudelaires when they're there. Actually, really quickly, it'd be kind of funny to give the Baudelaires like the sleeping bag instead. All right, and so with that room completed, I'll go in and just throw together a bedroom and a bathroom. This one for the Poes, just because we never actually see these rooms. All right, so with clutter, here is our master bedroom. There's all sorts of clutter over there, shelving, things like that. And then I did go through and also put together this little bathroom. I wanted everything to be pretty like run of the mill. And then this is the entirety of our kitchen, living, dining area. So it is going to be very, very cramped, although it's like that in the show as well. So I want to go in first and get a bigger rounded table, like maybe this one just right in the center. And we'll do counters kind of all around. Okay, and since this is every room and like this is a little bit more absurd of a building, we're gonna have our couch like here in between the counters and then like 2 little TVs here. But I think this is going to be our loose kind of kitchen set. It's very country home vibes, and then just the stuff all over the fridge. And then I will go in and clutter it up. It might take a minute because my goal is for this kitchen to just look mega cluttered. All right, and then here is our cluttered up kitchen, living, dining area for the Poe family. And I actually kind of love how this turned out. It's very chaotic, but everything's functional. You can like tell that they spend a lot of time in here. And so with that room, that will be our entire Poe family house. And so with this building done, we can move on and we can go in and make Count Olaf's house. We're on a 30 by 20 here in Newcrest. And this is the house I'm probably most excited to build. So we'll go in and get our shell, and Olaf's house is pretty big, but it's also multiple floors, so we'll benefit from that. And I'm gonna raise it up on a pretty tall foundation here, so it looks extra tall. So this will be our first floor. I feel like you can kind of see like it coming together. So I will go off camera and finish our shell. All right, so here's our terrible shell. Honestly, you guys, just let me work with like roofing and painting and we'll see if it's still as terrible when I'm done with that. Okay, are we seeing the vision here? I'll add doors and windows and landscaping, but I actually feel like this is looking pretty good so far. All right, and then with landscaping and doors and windows, here's our final home for Count Olaf. And I think at night it looks extra spooky there. And then in the back, I added an open window here with a little corbel and string for a cage for Sunny. And then we can move on and go into the interior. And in the interior, I kind of want to show you guys rooms that we've already done. So I just threw together this little hallway, a little bathroom here for Olaf, a little nastier bathroom over here a little bit. I thought maybe this could be the one the Baudelaires use. And then I just made this little like study so that there was a computer in here. And then using the Secret Sanctuary bookshelf door, you can come in here, and I made a bedroom for Count Olaf. We don't actually ever see that in the series. And so with those rooms completed, I think we'll go down here and make like the little foyer area. So I just want to do this little like more rundown white table, a chair over here that's not super in style, and then just one more little table. I like to think this is his idea of like sprucing the area up. I think maybe we'll actually do all of these rooms and then I can show you the cluttered versions at the end. So then I want to come in here and make this the kitchen. And we are just going to attempt to make the most rundown kitchen we can. Like, I want this to look 10 times worse than the one I made for Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's. But that kitchen was pretty nasty, so we'll see if we can do it. We'll use the used fridge. All right, so we have our kitchen here without clutter and can move into the dining room. Hello. Then in here in the dining room, we'll do the table and we'll do Olaf's really like ornate chair back there. And then without clutter, here's the dining room. And then back here, we'll make the ballroom, which I guess we don't like actually see. So we can throw a dance floor back here and maybe some of these tables. And then with the ballroom in here done, I will go through and clutter this entire floor up. All right, and then all cluttered up, here is our foyer / nectar area. We can come in through to our nasty kitchen that we tried to really clutter up. And then over here we have our cluttered dining room with just all sorts of garbage in there. And I tried to mix some of the horror with like the flamingo and stuff, some of the camp. And then over here we have the ballroom where people can eat and dance on the dance floor. And so then we'll go up and I want to make the Baudelaire's bedroom here. It's probably a lot bigger than they actually had. For bedroom, they are getting this like basic get to work one and just one. Oh, and you know what too? I'm going to stick some mouse holes all over this house. And I will technically give the Baudelaire's furniture, but I don't want them to have much. So then with dresser and mirror, I'll go in and clutter this room. All right, and then cluttered up, here is our Baudelaire bedroom at Count Olaf's. I just went in and like really basement treasured up this room. And so with this floor done, we can move up to the tower. And I just want this to be Count Olaf's like sewing room. And I also want him to have like a hair and makeup area. So then I'll go in off camera and just clutter this room up. All right, so here we have like his costume area. There's hairstyling, clothes, and really that's it. It's not very big. And then we'll move up, and I did do the top floor of the tower and made this more where like some of the evil supplies are. So ropes, crates. And then I put like a bed behind this jail cell for when the Baudelaire's get trapped up here. And then here's our window for Sunny's cage. And so with those all completed, that is going to be Count Olaf's house for us. And with Count Olaf's house done, we can move on to to Justice Strauss's home. And Justice Strauss will live here right across the street from Count Olaf. And Justice Strauss's house is a lot simpler than Count Olaf's and a lot smaller, thank goodness. So literally, this is going to be the entirety of our shell. She's just got one roof piece. It's kind of hard to build with Olaf's huge house right there. Okay, yeah, literally, this is the house. It is going to be kind of a tight squeeze in there, but I'll go in and do doors, windows, paint, things like that. All right, and I wanted to show it to you guys before we go in and do landscaping that this is our exterior for Justice Strauss. So I'll show you guys landscaping and then we can go in and do the interior. All right, and then here's the landscaping. It's pretty minimal, just added like those cherry trees. Here in the interior, we did the entryway and then a living room right here. It's really, really small. And then it has this big arch going into our kitchen. And then in here we have just our like grandma aesthetic type kitchen. I threw together a really tiny bedroom for Justice Strauss and over here a little like retro bathroom. But then we can move over here into the library. And Justice Strauss has like a massive library. We do not have that type of space in here. First and foremost, she has this huge portrait of a lawyer. I feel like we can use this one maybe. And it's over a fireplace. Maybe we'll do that. And then much like the Baudelaire's, like, I think modular is our best bet here with bookcases. See, I liked the idea of the columns in here, but I feel like they're kind of taking away from our book space. Maybe I'll leave them in the corners. So maybe we'll do this for the bookshelves. And then she's got those cozy chairs for people to sit in to read. Like, I kind of like these horse ranch ones. And then we can put a little desk back here with this lawyery chair where you can kind of study and read books. I think that looks really nice there. We'll throw down a really nice rug. And then honestly, we should be ready to clutter this room up. All right, and so then all cluttered up, here is the library for Justice Strauss's house. Even though it's a lot smaller than the show, I think it really captures like the essence. And so with that room done, we will have completed Justice Strauss's house. Okay, so now we'll come over here and build the theater for the wedding scene. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this build because I don't extremely feel the need to. So we're just on a little lot in Nordhaven. And I do feel like, honestly, this is going to be our shell. Like, there's not really much to most theaters. There is a specific type of sign I want, though, like this kind. And I think, honestly, we'll just platform roof. All right, and with that done, I will go off and do paint, roof trim, things like that. All right, so with lighting and clutter, here's what our theater looks like, especially all lit up at night. And then here it is during the daytime, but I think it actually turned out really cute. Not a ton of landscaping, just because it is like more of a generic lot. So then we'll go in and do the interior. Actually, you know what? I should put a dumpster out back. So for the interior, I just want to make the stage. Here's kind of what it's looking like right now. And then it goes up here to like the mezzanine. So first of all, I want to get some like very theatery curtains, like maybe these from Lovestruck. And then I'm going to take out this wall here. And these are going to be like backstage, like costumey areas. And then what I also want to do is stick some theater curtains on there. All right, so we have this like curtain rod here. And then I want to add like the tree decals in the back, not like the real trees because it's a set. And then maybe like a dark sky looking wallpaper, like that's the background of it. Ooh, maybe I want to add the fog machines and maybe like the really big Get Famous spotlights, but we'll size them down a little bit. And then I just searched propped and I'm going to add a little bit of this like Get Famous stuff back here maybe. But then also I want to put a wedding arch in the center here. We can put a podium back here for Justice Strauss, even though technically this is the funeral one, but I think that's kind of like fitting for this aesthetic. All right, and then this will be our stage. And then I'll go through and just finish up the other areas. All right, and then all cluttered up, here is what our theater is looking like. We've got a little orchestra pit, a costume area backstage, bathrooms, and then we've just got our little theater seats so everyone can see the stage. And with our theater all the way done, we can move on to our last build of this video, which is going to be Lemony Snicket's newspaper room. And for that, we are going to go to Tomarang. And this is a room that Lemony lives in. We're going to make it an apartment. This outside is like 100% I would guess not what the outside of that apartment looks like, but I think we'll leave it because I don't think it's his permanent residence. I think it's where he stays to like navigate the evidence based on what's going on for the Baudelaires. So I honestly think I will keep the tiny kitchen and bathroom. Like that's really all he needs. The bedroom is fine because truthfully, I think this is just like a little stowaway spot for him. Although maybe I'll give him a TV at least. But then this main room, because I was going to give him a studio anyway. This main room is what I want to make his like Baudelaire tracking room. So I wanted to use this wallpaper, obviously, and maybe just do some of these cork boards. I maybe want to give him a few filing cabinets, documents up here. I kind of think this book sorting cart is fun. It kind of reminds me of the library at Proof Rock, but this is what I really wanted, the grimy crime map. And here he can do all of his like planning and things. We'll give him the listening device. And I just really want to clutter it up to make it look like this is an area for him to figure things out. And honestly, I feel like this is pretty good. I don't want to overdo it. And so with the newspaper room done, again, I like the bare bonesness of everything else because I feel like that adds to the feel of like him still being a traveler and not being actually settled down here. He just hides out here. I would guess this is one of the locations that the sewer takes you through. You know what? Actually, let's put this in here then so it is like he comes up from the sewers to get to this area. And so with that room done, that is going to be our entire set of builds for The Bad Beginning. This was a lot of builds. Thank you guys for like pushing through. And let me know what you thought of this style of showing a bunch of builds quickly. And if you like this video, please feel free to leave a like or a comment and subscribe for more videos like these. I hope you guys join me in my next series of unfortunate events video where we actually get to start the Let's Play. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.